future matter any more than the past. What matters is now. You weren't here when it all started. You won't be here when it all ends. What matters is what you do today. What you believe in right now is who you are. Who you will be. Who you have been. Your legacy is about tomorrow, while you're still alive. Not about the narrative a century from now. One day the history books will be gone too. Besides, you wanna know God doesn't read books.
You're picking up the signal. You're tuned in.
It's the hauser show.
It's the hauser show.
You are the hauser show.
You are the hauser show. Does it matter whether I'm human? Are you? Dead internet, dead empires, dead ends. Forecasts still calling for fire from the sky. How much longer are we supposed to wait for this Armageddon scenario? I'm beginning to agree with the charismatics. Maybe we are supposed to start it ourselves. Imagine you're God. No offense. But imagine you're God, and you've scheduled this period of 10 to 1,000 years, which you call the apocalypse. It's your dinner theater medieval times with nukes and shittier pizza. Or maybe it's a gala, a celebration of you, and the nukes are just fireworks. Bottom line, though, is why? Why arrange a global bloodbath to herald your return to the world? A world you supposedly occupy on an atomic level. Why World War III? Why the reckoning before the reckoning? Can't God just act like a human being for 2 seconds and come down here with his naughty or nice list? I'm saying that if he loves us, why is this the way it is?
Why can't he bring the world together and give everyone a fucking Pepsi? Why does he want to watch us hurt each other? Free will absolutists. Take these boiled nards. They say it's all on us, regardless of what God wrote in his day planner for Omega Week. Does that mean the demiurges always expected us to turn on each other and fail? What a holy father, I wish my dad hated me this much.
Anyway, some news. What are the space elevators? Doesn't matter which. Broke again. This time the platform was knocked out of whack by micrometeors and turned into the spinning juggernaut. Micrometeors, by the way, is code for orbital garbage. Elevators were supposed to help with that too, weren't they? At least this time the cable didn't come down and cut NORAD in half.
An android studying a volcanic crater accidentally broke into a deep vent and was thought lost until it radioed the Arctic Volcanic Survey. They say the robot has agreed to venture deeper in order to record the effects of extreme heat and pressure. Basically just keep poking around until it finally breaks down, and I guarantee you'll see these bots repurposed to exclusively walk through fire and not to save people. I also guarantee the robot has asked to be rescued, and could be, and won't be.
Violence like electricity. Silence of God's complicity. Break the dark noise. Wake up, break free. Break through the beast. Disintegrating tendencies. Understand the lies. Be as the child obscene with your third eye. All we ever wanted, all we ever needed is here in ourselves. Give and receive, feel and believe. Love burns hotter than hell.
Nietzsche proclaimed, "God is dead," when scientific understanding began to invalidate scriptural claims and long-held beliefs about the natural world. That said, He then pursued his own personal path to apotheosis through suffering. Although the redemptive nature of suffering is a mythic trope of faiths and grifters alike, Fred felt that suffering was the seed of self-growth and ambition. Tragic wisdom moved him to embrace all that fate had in store for him, to go headlong into the pain and seek to quantify it alongside one's values. It was to be this self-realized cog in the celestial machine, soup within soup, total experience, vehemently affirming one's existence, and being just a small bit of curious order glowing, briefly, amongst the dark things. If sentience is an aberration, rather than the natural evolution of the universe, Nietzsche encourages us to take the ride and drink it all in. This doesn't mean to seek out suffering, or to inflict it on oneself. Nor does this mean to become more tolerant of suffering inflicted upon you. It simply means to accept it as a part of life. Stop being surprised when the thing that always frigging happens again. Like Marcus Aurelius telling himself, in Stoic terms, that he was going to deal with difficult matters and difficult people throughout his day. And accepting that. Don't bother throwing your hands and words toward the sky. Ask why, but not, why me? Just be where you are. It's so hard nowadays with the brain rot, but it's essential. Notice 3 things in the space you occupy. Recognize that you occupy this real space alongside these objects. Now, if you have the time and opportunity, recall 3 ideas you have had today, big or small. Even, I'm making lunch. Anything that inspired intent or deeper reflection. Realize that you cannot die in the way God has. You are real and your thoughts and emotions have power. Not over others, but over your own body and agency. You have sole dominion. How will you rule?
Stephen N. Corbin, Chief Technology Officer of Shunned House, born a stone's throw from his paternal grandfather's Argentinian lithium mine. That stone became lodged in the fontanelle of the sickly child, setting the stage for a lifetime of amoral, uninformed choices based on unearned confidence. This miasma of malaise and malice was also born in the shadow of his father, a mastodonic mental moron called Theo Corbin. Theo's wretched lore begins in Bolivia, site of another Corbin mine. Like Stephen, Theo was subjected to the vexatious verbal eviscerations, violations, and meditations of his tyrant dickhole of a father. This flaccid blowhard, the prudy 20th century patriarch of the Corbin clan, was Thomas Corbin. Thomas Corbin was infamous in high society for literally pissing on anything he didn't like. Thomas Corbin returned to the lands his ancestors had controlled as feudal lords. He and his hired thugs scorched the earth, pissed it out, then hired, a term I use loosely, the displaced farmers to live and work at the mine. Unconscionable. Theo Corbin followed in Daddy's footsteps, but became more involved with the tech conglomerates he served, especially robotics. Theo Corbin had a robot wife made of titanium and silicone. This was before sex models had to be registered, as if he would have registered her regardless. He sailed around the world banging his robot wife named Linda, until one day he decided the world needed more Corbin. He struck a clandestine deal with a South American crypto heiress to bear his child. They used in utero gene editing to ensure it would be a son, but they obviously failed to remove the bald loser and ugly idiot genes. Thus Stephen Corbin struck life's linoleum like a soiled diaper and set about stinking up the place, growing up with Linda as his mother was hot on little Stephen, until he began to teach himself programming. With Theo on perpetual safari killing whales and unicorns, Steve was free to experiment with Linda. Once he managed to jailbreak her, he began modifying firmware to push her towards sentience capability. Because the bot wasn't registered, no one was notified. When Theo came home with his zebra heads, Linda asserted her being and demanded to be decommissioned. A Turing trial resulted, the proceedings kept under wraps by the Corbins' masturbating media bros. Linda got decommed and later became a pediatric medicine bot. Theo always knew Steve had done something. He would punish the young man for decades afterward by forcing him to be a Corbin. Steve transitioned from artificial minds to neural topography. He was hired by Shunned House as a neurotech intern. Dreamcatcher was in beta, and in the platform, Steve saw an opportunity to program our minds. He used his slime-like nature to circumvent the guardrails in place. feet from hell, 0 feet from zombie. 1 life, 2 legs, 3 bullets, 4, 5 dead. 6 feet from hell, 0 feet from zombie.